Hello, Flosstube, and welcome. So lovely to have you here again. Um, Please come in, sit down, and find something to stitch, drink, and enjoy. I'm not sure if it will be a long or short one. We'll see. I don't have that much time, so I will try and hurry through some of it. So this is a channel about cross stitching, and it's about my journey in cross stitching, how I develop, try new things, doing what I do, see how much I can get done, and so on. It's currently March the 14th of 2020. This is going to be February update, even though we're halfway into March. There is just a lot going on right now. The coronavirus is totally taking over Norway, so everyone has been put into quarantine. That means we are not supposed to interact with other people at all, and that is going to happen for 2 weeks to try and stop the spread of the coronavirus. I have already gone into isolation because I am one of those that are in the risk group. So if I get the coronavirus, it can go badly pretty fast. So let's just hope I don't get it. If I do, like, at this point, there's not much I can do. I have tried to take the precautions I can. So yeah. Right now, my husband and son is out taking a walk because 2 days into the quarantine, my son is already almost running onto the walls because he is so bored. He wants to go and play with other children. So my husband is taking him for a walk today. So I thought I would use the opportunity to film because there hasn't been a lot of those lately. And when I have had the opportunity, I have been sick, not the coronavirus, the flu. And yeah, just stuff happens all the time. So right now my husband and son is going to be home for 2 weeks, so this will be exciting. Let's just say I don't think March will be a good stitchy month. Luckily February was. So to everyone that's here, welcome. If you're new, then it's lovely to have you here. I hope you enjoy and will subscribe and keep following me. And if you are a returning subscriber, you know that I care for you so much. It's always a pleasure to hear from you, and I love the support you all give me to do these videos. So even though life is hectic, I do love to film my Flosstube updates, and I am going to try and be better about it. So one new thing I'm gonna start doing again. I stopped doing haul a while back because of different reasons. But the thing is, right now I don't have a lot of haul. I'm trying not to buy anything. Let's just say that. I do buy something if I find a good sale, like something that will save me money in the long run, but I'm not especially trying to buy anything. So I was thinking haul isn't that bad to start doing again. So of course I have a big box of stuff that I bought because a seller in the UK, she apparently has been doing kits and stuff like that, and was just destashing, not doing any more kits, and so on and so forth. So she was selling cones of DMC. They look a little bit smaller than the 100 grams in size. I have the other ones. They are a little bit taller, but there are a lot more thicker floss. So they are 100 grams, which equals about 425 meters of floss, which is about 53 skeins, a little bit more than 53 skeins, but it is 425 plus minus, 425 meters plus minus, so around 53 skeins for in one of these. So I got 792 and 793. She didn't have all the colors, so I just took the colors I know I use a lot of. 553, one of the purple ones. Too bad she didn't have 550, because that one is going a lot of. 3854. 413. She also did have 415, which is the one I actually need the most of the gray ones, but somebody managed to snag that right in front of my face, so I didn't get it. 436, which is one of those brown colors that is used a lot. 606, one of the more used red colors, except for, I think, at least from what I am stitching, I think 666 and 321 are the two red colors more used than this one. But this is still used a lot, so that was nice to get. 818, very light pink one. I have this in a lot of cross stitches, especially full coverages, stuff like that. So I thought it would be good to just get one of those. And lastly, 471, which is a green color that I just know I are using a lot when stitching, especially full coverage and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what I have for my haul. So it's a little bit of a bigger haul, but actually it wasn't that expensive. She sold it for a really good price. And I have just received some money from my mother-in-law, because I helped my sister-in-law with her chemistry exam she was going to take. So I was basically a chemistry teacher for half a year last year. So my mother-in-law gave me some money to compensate for all the work I did. And she wanted me to buy something I would have used for, would enjoy. So I found out that buying those floss will give me a lot of joy in the future. Like, I have some silhouette patterns I want to do, and maybe instead of doing them just in black, it could be fun to do it in one of those colors, something like that. Now I have a lot of them, so I don't need to worry about running out of that color if I'm gonna use it for something like that. So that is fun. Okay, that was my haul. Let's go over to some statistics. For February. I haven't done for March yet. So some of these cross stitching, I will say I did this amount in February, but I have worked on them in March also. So there is more stitches than what I'm saying, but I will try and remember to say it. So February has 29 days, and I did a total of 32,468 stitches. Yeah. That means I had an average stitch count of 1,120 stitches each day in the month of February. That is a new record. Let's just say that is a new record. I have no clue how I managed to do it, but somehow I just knocked out stitches. I had some days where I thought I had really bad stitchy days, and when I counted up everything I had done, because I had done a little bit here, a little bit there, it was like 800 stitches. And on good stitchy days, I reached way over 1,000 stitches, like close over 2,000 stitches. So it was just adding up. Like, I think I had a slow start, but around the 10th or 11th of February, I suddenly saw that I have reached an average of over 1,000 stitches each day, because I'm at 11,000 stitches and this is day 11. So it was just insane, and it kept going. Like, it was really fun, and that's good because March will be a bad stitchy month. Let's just say that. So at the end of February, I have a total of 56,533 stitches so far this year at the end of February. So we still have March to add on, which isn't much to brag about, but there's some stitches done, so not too bad. Okay, so I have some finishes, so I will first show you those. So let's go over to finishes. So first up, I finished the Little Mermaid series, and my plan is to make these into coasters. So yeah, they look really, really cute. Did a total of 1,447 stitches on this one in February. And I think they were finished either in February or just in the beginning of March. They were my scavenger hunt pieces for the daily 30. So I am done with the first main tier of the scavenger hunt, so that's fun. So now I can double dip my stitches if my whips fits. Next up, I did Sorrow from One Piece. If you remember, I already have done Luffy. He is the main captain in One Piece, main character, and I turned him into a coaster. So now I have done Sorrow. He is actually one of my favorite characters in One Piece. There are some others that are higher up my list, but I know this is the favorite of the crew that my husband likes. So since I'm doing it mostly for him, I thought I would do the one he likes first, and then I can do mine afterwards. So yeah, I might do more of those in the future. We'll see. They are really quick stitches. That one I started in March and finished in March. So I think I used maybe 3 days, something like that. So next up is a bigger finish. It's actually a pretty big one for me, so I'm happy. And it's the Storytime Sampler by Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. So I put this in my scavenger hunt list after Sorrow was done, and I could start to double dip with my weekly and monthly challenges. And this one just has so much details in it that it fits almost everything. So yeah, I got a lot done. So in March I did in February I actually didn't stitch on it at all, so everything I stitched was in March. And I think I ended up stitching, let's see, I can find it quickly here on my iPad because I have it. 4,313 stitches in March. And it was finished the 11th of March, I believe. So this one I stitched a total of 7,946 stitches this year, and it got me a finish. So, the fabric I hand dyed myself. It's an 18 count Ada. So everyone is saying that fabric is amazing and for that piece, and I'm like, well, yeah, I dyed it myself. I think that is very very fun that I managed to do something that most people think were the best color for that one, so that's fun. Next up is one of the pieces I am focusing on this year, so now we're going into whips. So this is my Epic Pokemon Generation 1. I will insert a picture of what it will look like and what it looked like the last time you saw it here. And this is where we're at now. So I actually finished the top half. I got 3 page finishes in February and 2 in March. And it goes down, and as you can see, I have added on a 2 stitch wide black border on the most part, and are going to continue doing it all around, because I just think with this, when I don't have the extended version, it looks so much better. So, and it's halfway on my Q snap because I got it a place where I have it like perfectly set on the Q snap, so I really didn't want to take it out and show you today, but I figured like it has gone so long and I have done so much and there is such a huge change, so you all deserve to see it. So this is the main part I stitched except for the black border. So I finished up I think maybe I finished up Mr. Mime, Rhyhorn, Chansey, Cubone, Marowak, Tangela, one of my favorites, Hitmonlee, Execute, and Rhydon. So yeah, a lot of stitches. So in February I did 7,077 stitches on this one, and I have no clue how much I have done so far in March. Just saying. Just trying to find a place to put things. So next up is my second width that I am trying to focus on this year. It's the baby blanket. It's a kit by Tobin Baby, and design is by Joan Elliott. It's going to look like this when it's done, and I will insert a picture of where I was the last time you saw it here. And this is where I'm at now. So this is the top section. This one was finished already. So pay attention to the borders on both sides, because I finished the borders on both sides. Started it at the bottom, and I did some more on the bunny, some back stitching, a little bit more up here in the moon, and the ribbon on the moon's hat. And I did a big section of frogging right here that was one stitch off. So yeah, I hope you got a good view of the top and the bottom. I have no clue because I can't see a thing when holding this up. It's huge. So now that Daily 30 are back to its usual schedule, a way of doing prompts and challenges, I am thinking that I'm going to add this in as my Daily 30 piece. I hope. We'll see, because March is a little bit hectic right now. So we'll see if I will do it in March or do it from the beginning of April. My plan is to try and keep doing that the rest of the year until it's done. Because doing small chunks of it each day, it's fine. If I try to stitch a lot of it in one day, my hand starts to cramp and I start getting problems. So can't do too much there. So I did a total of 1,393 stitches on that one. So next one up is my Cinderella by Mirabilia. And one of the reasons I'm going to show this is because the baby blanket and Cinderella, I did the almost exact same amount of hours on, but you will see there is a big difference in the stitch count. So I will insert picture here of what it will look like and what it looked like the last time you saw it. And here it is now. So what I did mostly what I did is I stitched in this section right here. The plant section, because I had to stitch on a plant, and more of the castle. So the castle is starting to get done. I don't remember if I did anything down here. I might have, but I'm not 100% sure. So yeah, That is one of my Ripco goals on this one, is to finish the castle and everything around. Finish her head and neck. So like the 1/1 stitching in the face and neck before the dress. And some of the border is also on there. So yeah, that's where I'm at on this one. And as I said, I had exact same amount of stitches on exact same amount of hours, give or take, on Baby Blanket and Cinderella, but this one I had 1,000 stitches more. So you can see the Baby Blanket is really slow to stitch on, but I do love it. So it's just not very good for challenges where I need stitches. So that is also why it will be perfect for the daily 30, because I don't need a lot of stitches. I just need the time to stitch on it. And getting like 30 minutes each day, it gives a little bit more and a little bit more stitches. And hopefully it can give me a finish by the end of the year. So Cinderella, I did 2,303 stitches on in February. And I have not worked on it in March. So that is the total amount of stitches that has gotten so far since the last time. Next up is my epic storybook princesses. Yeah. And I will insert a picture of what it looked like, what it will look like, and where you saw it the last time here. And here we are now. So I got some more finished over here. The Snow White block, some more of the border. I think I have 2 more sections to go down. And I also managed to work my way over. Started this block. Mainly the reason I have only done like 1 or 2 things in the block is because I want to see that I'm correct in the height, like that it's on point. And down here, and I discovered a mistake over here, so this little section got frog. So yeah, it's starting to come along. I'm doing it not 100% the way you see it, because the way Cloud's Factory have done it is Snow White, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, The Little Mermaid, like going down in chronological order of when the movies was released, while I am going this way. So it will be Snow White, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, and The Little Mermaid, and continuing on that way. This is an 18 count Ada. I dyed, re-dyed, put in chlorine, and this is the result. And I actually really love it for this piece, especially now that I'm getting more of the characters in. Like the characters are really bright, so on this pale pink peach color, they are really popping out. And all of the border except the castle is done in Silks for You that I converted myself. If you're wondering what they are, like, let me know. I don't have all the numbers, but I have the numbers for the main blue one that I'm doing right here. And I might There is a slim chance I can find out the numbers of the others, since I am doing colors of the months with Silks for You, where I get 4 skeins of their silk that is from their range of colors they have. I haven't done the fabrics on the other ones, but it's like Pokemon is just 14 count Ada. The baby blankets, it's pre-gridded fabric. And the Mirabilia one, Cinderella, it's the call for 32 count gray, pearl gray even weave, I believe. So yeah. Next up, Aladdin by Donut Stitch. One of the few I actually have the picture handy. So it's going to look like this when it's done. And I will insert a picture where you saw it the last time here. So this is where we're at now. And this one is so much fun to stitch, and it's going so quick. Like Epic Pokemon, I did 7,000 stitches on. I did almost the same amount of hours on Aladdin as Pokemon. Pokemon is actually a little bit more, like half an hour or something like that. And Aladdin, I did 9,137 stitches in February. So you can see there's a big difference in stitch count. So this is stitched on 20 count Ada 2/1, and I love how the coverage is. It is a little bit like thicker than I usually do, but I really love it for this one, and I am considering doing my Fantasy World over 2 when I see how good this one is turning out. So that was Aladdin, and this is one of the main reasons I got such high stitch counts in February, because I could knock out almost 2,500 stitches in a day on this one. If I had a good stitchy day with 6 to 7 hours in a day, I got like 2,500 stitches on it. So it was crazy. Yeah, crazy. So, but fun. So we'll see if I will do more on that one. Because I do love stitching on it. Not just because it's a quick stitch, but it's such a relaxing stitch, and it's so fun and vibrant colors. I just really enjoy it. So yeah. And as I have said before, I have found out that when I start stitching from the top to the bottom, I enjoy the stitches so much more. Like Storytime Sampler, even though these sections are like, these parts doesn't touch any other stitches, I still didn't fall in love with this one until I had stitched my way up and started stitching top to bottom. Like, so when I got down here again, with Lady of Charlotte and Phantom of Europe Opera, this is when I started falling in love with this one. And these 4 last blocks went like a dream, because I just enjoy stitching top to bottom. I don't enjoy starting from the middle and stitching my way out. That's just how I am. So, next up, we have Fairytale Land 2 by Soda Stitch. It's going to look like this when it's done. And I will insert a picture of where I was the last time here. And this is where I am at now. So I finished getting my way over. So I have the full width of the fabric. This foot right here is wrong. It's supposed to be over here. So this one needs to be frogged. So yeah, but mainly I worked on this section. Worked on Rapunzel, the tree, a little bit more in the tower, a little bit more on this Mother Gothel. So just working my way from the top down. So it's really fun. I reached the right edge. So there is a lot to go still. This is 25 count granite by Swigert, and it's stitched 2 over 2, except for skin, which is stitched 1 over 1. And in the month of February, I did 2,137 stitches on this one. So it got good progress. So yeah, that was my whips, and I have 2 new starts. For you. So the first new start is Modern Folk Embroidery. Has the 2020 sale is called a Family Patchwork Sampler. We have seen the whole design finish, so I will insert a picture of what it will look like here. And this is how far I have gotten on it. I have done my own conversion on it. Modern Folk Embroidery is really nice for just doing your own thing, because it's usually sharded in just one color and you can do whatever you want with it. So this is the first block. January, February I think started something like this and over, and March is going to be over here, and I think April is the next, and then we're going down here and over again. So this is not cut to size. I just took the full size of the fabric, but a lot of it will be filled in the width, because it's a really wide pattern. This is a 36 by 36 inches fabric, a cut of fabric. It's a hand-dyed fabric by the Crafty Kitten. Buttercup second dyeing. 32 count Belfast linen. It's one that I got on sale, I think. I'm pretty sure. And I'm doing it all in silks. So most likely this flower part right here, I'm going to rip out and try and find a pink silk that I like and put in instead. So I have a red silk. I don't have the number on this one because it was from our grab bag. The same with the light green. But the darker green is PR111. That is the main color on the borders and stuff. The blue one is PRO75. And the pink one is, the purple one is also just from a grab bag. So I also have pulled out a variegated purple, a little bit darker than the other one, and a brown. The brown I will use on the animals, I'm thinking. So I'm doing a little bit more colors than what it is sharded for. But I do think it's going to look amazing in the end. So that's fun. So yeah, one last time. This is a family patchwork sampler by Modern Folk Embroidery. So I did a total of 2,457 stitches on that one. So a good decent start. So that's not bad. Just trying to clean a little bit up while we're going through this. Just because the time is, as always, I'm rambling on. So the time is running. Okay, next up, a start. This is a model stitch I'm doing. So I'm not sure if I'm going to count it towards my 20 starts in 2020. We'll see. I haven't decided. But since it's a model stitch, I feel like it shouldn't count. But at the same time, it was a design I really wanted to do, so yeah. So Lisa from Shady Tree Stitches, she is one of the two persons in Shady Tree Stitches here on Flosstube. She and her friend Jenny. She is the main, I will say main person of Shady Tree Stitches. She has now started designing her own patterns, which are done in more of an towards Australian people. It's the one I'm doing is called A Year Down Under. So you have all of the months, which is, as I said, towards the southern hemisphere. So you have like January, it's a beach theme, but I think it's really cool, and like it will be fun to have this one and another monthly pattern beside each other to kind of see the difference, especially learning education wise for my son. Sorry. So Lisa is called Paddock Lane Designs. If I pronounced that incorrectly, I'm sorry, Lisa. I will insert a link to her Facebook and Etsy page below. And I will try at the end of the video to link her Flosstube so you can see. She is from Australia. So, and I have a little bit of everything on this one done and nothing finished yet. Bad model stitcher so far. So this is what I have so far. So January is going to be here. February is a Valentine inspired block. March is a little bit more spring-like colors. Not spring-like, maybe more summerish colors. With the bunny looking out at the ocean. So not all of them are 100% very Aussie, but so May August, and that will be the last one. This hasn't come out yet, so, but January and April has. So I'm doing them all on one big piece of fabric. I just doing a simple 1 stitch border around, and she actually has a much prettier border sharded now to use, but when I started mine that wasn't out yet, and so I will not do that one. But I will do all of them monthly sections, and there is writing at the top, a year down under, which is going to be sharded. So that one I did 2,452 stitches in the month of February, and I also have worked on it in March. So we're done with the whips. So so far my whip go board is looking like this. White ones is not finished, not cold. Light gray is cold but not finished. And when I say finished, it's the gold that is finished. Black ones are finished and gold finish. And dark gray is finished but not cold. So you can see I'm ahead of the game, except this one, but this one will be done in March. That is Enchanted Luna, and my goal for that one is to finish the top section, so that will go fairly quickly. I love stitching on that piece, so those stitches will be knocked out. I'm just waiting for a challenge where I can pull it out and do it, because I don't like to waste stitches. So yeah, and this is the list over my goals. So Epic Pokemon Generation 1 is divided into 7 different goals, and you can see 2 of them are completed with the green one. And this is the other ones. All the ones with green hair are completed, the goals. So yeah. Fun so far. My only thing is I'm wondering if I have like underestimated how much I would get done in a year, or if it's just the crazy amount of stitches I have gotten so far this year. Like, I have never been at 56,000 stitches at the end of February ever in my life. So I think maybe I have gone a little gangbusters on some of the challenges. So we'll see. Like, there's still a lot to do. There is still a lot of full coverage project, and each of those have like 4,000 stitches, except for Epic Pokemon, which is basically a finish. And there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 more pages to go on Epic Pokemon. So yeah, we'll just see. So far, I feel I'm ahead of the goals I have on my Whip Go board, which is good. And at the same time, like, I couldn't fit all my whips into the Whip Go board, and I do want to touch all my whips in the year of 2020. Plus, I have plans to try and start 20 whips in 2020, even though I'm already getting tired of starting things. That's so typical me, I know. So yeah, we'll just see how it goes. but it is fun. I'm having fun. Um, and I'm trying to mainly focus on, as I said, daily 30, full coverage fanatics. Maybe full coverage fanatics is before daily 30, but those are like yearly ones, so not really. Magical stitches, and then enchanted stitches. And like I do some semi-sane stitchers challenges. Right now in March, we're doing letters of fortune. That one is always fun. But I do at the beginning of March, when I had letters of fortune, I also was in myth and magic stitch words together with Sammy, Lisa, Sarah, and Harriet. All of them has Flosstube. If I remember, I will link them below. I was in a clan together with them, and when we hit more, we started at the end of February. So when we hit March, I did feel a little bit overwhelmed. And that's also why my stitching has gone down in March, because when I then was done, I had a day where I didn't stitch at all. It just got too overwhelming. So I still need to be good about balancing how much I'm doing. Like both myth and magic stitch words and letters of fortune, like you don't have a special prompt you need to do. You just need to do the stitches. So it shouldn't be a problem, right? But when you have so many groups to keep control of, it's just, it gets a little bit overwhelming for me. And I'm just, I feel like I'm using more time posting on each and every group and prompts and stuff instead of actual stitching. And that's when it starts to not be fun anymore, because I want to mainly stitch. So a lot of people have asked me, like, how do you keep control of all the groups, everything you need to post? Like, how are you doing it? So I think I have showed you before the post-it note ball I have. But basically I have post-it notes where I write down, like when I mark off my pattern, I count the stitches and I will add up the sum. So if I had 10 stitches and I mark off 32 stitches, I will then write an arrow and then the number 42, because 10 plus 32 is 42. Yes, I do that math just in my head. You can use a calculator, you can use a stitch counter if you want. Like, just have somewhere you keep control of your stitches. And then sometimes I have been writing on the post-it notes the amount of stitches I need on each and every group. But that started to take so much place of the post-it note because they're not that big. Even though I have a really small writing and I use one of those pushing pencil things with a very small lead inside. Not real lead like the one you have in pencil to write with, which doesn't have lead in it at all if you're a science person like me. So yeah, so what I have done to try and reduce the amount I need to write on the post-it note is that I made this a while back, before the beginning of the year. So I write down my project here, double dipping, I write here. That's a new addition, and I have marked them off with just coloring in these blocks, like this line, just to easier at a glance see what I'm doing. And as you can see, this one isn't active right now. There is nothing stitch-wise. So the epic Pokemon one, you can see 14,561 because even though I'm past a month, I keep counting. So this is the number I need to reach on Epic Pokemon before I can post in SH. It stands for scavenger hunt, so that is for the scavenger hunt. And double dipping, you can see it says monthly, so I'm doing a monthly prompt at the same time I'm doing scavenger hunt because I'm allowed to, because I'm at the ultimate tier. Sorceress, this is one of the events in Magical Stitches where you work together. So this one, the number it says, that is the beginning number from when I posted the pictures. So when I'm done stitching for Epic Pokemon, like for a while, when I'm changing whips, I will then take the ending point I have, like how the number I have at when I end my rotation on Epic Pokemon, or when I'm tired of working on it and want to change. And I subtract this number, and then I get the amount I have done since I posted the starting picture. And I will then post the ending picture with the number I did get, which tells how many stitches I have done since the beginning photo. So that one I'm doing a little bit different when it's those kind of challenges, because I don't have an ending point on the group challenges, because it's basically just stitch as much as you can so we can get the sorceress hat done or something else. So that's why that is that way. This one, Enchanted Stitching, you can see here it says which group it is. Enchanted Stitching, it says Walk AK, so that is Enchanted Stitching has a yearly challenge where you walk through all of the parks with stitches. So this is Animal Kingdom. So I know that when I go to Animal Kingdom, this is the number I need to finish the amount of stitches I need on that section of the park, because it's divided into several steps. And then Letters of Fortune. And when I did Myth and Magic, I did just have M and M, and then the number I needed. Or the starting number if I was just stitching trying to get a high item. So that is basically how I keep control. I did for a while keep up with this one, the Headmistress. So that's the crazy challenge. So for each 1,000 stitches you need to post. So for a while I was good about it. Each time I marked off a star, but I haven't really kept up with it after that. Actually, I think it's up to date. So, but it's one of the main purposes that one is there is to remind me that, okay, I just reached a new 1,000 stitches. I need to post a photo in the Crazy Headmistress challenge. So that is basically how I keep track when I'm stitching. So it's like it's iPad. I'm using this one to track my hours. And when I have counted up, I usually just go in here, just see if I have hit any of the numbers, if I'm close to reaching some of them. Because if I'm like 5 stitches away, then I'm just doing 5 stitches and then ending. So I don't use more stitches than I need on a prompt. So I don't waste a lot of stitches, basically. It's not a total waste, I know, but it's when you're doing prompts, those 5 stitches could go into something else. So that's just a little bit of how I'm tracking my challenges. For somebody that can feel a little bit overwhelming, it can feel a little bit tedious, but that's basically what's working for me, so I'm sticking with it. Also, I usually have a pretty good wrap around all the challenges that I have that are coming. Like, I know that, okay, that's a prompt I need to fill, that's a prompt I need to film. I have a little bit of an idea of what challenges I want to do. So, but if it gets too much for me, I also have this setup. Both of these are numbers. The app numbers, which I think is only for Apple products. So this is the new version I have made. So for week whatever, and it says, this one says week 11, 13th to 15th of March. So this one is basically, it needs to be finished by either the 13th or the 15th. The 13th is Friday, and that's always daily 30. I know this, so that's not a problem. And the 15th are a Sunday. So that's everything else. Except the monthly ones, but those are not on here. So then I just write down the challenges. I have like what group it is. D30s is daily 30, MS magical stitches, ES enchanted stitches. The stitch amount, the highest stitch amount needed, because I usually do the highest one. And then I have like projects I could use if I wanted to. So if I'm really struggling with something, I can look at this list. As you can see, I don't always update it. I have it next week, but I haven't done the new one. And then in addition to these purple ones, I have this lighter green one, which is basically just tracking daily 30. Like, this is just an emergency template if things get too much for me. Because usually I can keep track of daily 30 without using the spreadsheet. And then the monthly ones. So here I write down all the monthly challenges I'm doing. So daily 30, magical stitches, and enchanted stitches. I don't usually do the weekly and enchanted stitching. I'm usually doing monthly and the walks, because those can be double dipped. Not just because of that, but I don't know. Too many weekly challenges just gets too much. So instead I'm doing monthly. Then I have this list, so I can go and look at it. And this is also a nice list, like especially the monthly one. If I suddenly have a whip I'm stitching on, and I have found something on the daily 30, I have found something in Magical School of Stitches, then I can go here and see like, okay, what do I have left for enchanted stitches? And I can easily fit that in. Usually, I just do it by going into the events that I have saved and look at my post. So I don't really need to use that template. But as I said, I do use it if things get too much, if I'm really sick and I can't keep track of stuff. That one is a nice template to have, basically. Just a quick overview. So, going forward, I don't have plans. Like, March is a crazy amount, so I try to do my whip go if I see a prompt that I can use. But the biggest problem there is if it's a prompt that you can use whatever you want, like a free whip, like this new week in Daily 30, we have do 400, exactly 436 stitches or 63 stitches, something like that. I don't remember the number exactly right now. Do that amount of stitches on whatever project you want. Then I usually pull up my Epic Pokemon one because I need to get like 60,000-70,000 stitches by the end of the year. So where I can fit it in, I try to fit it in. And those ones, I can use Epic Pokemon. So then I won't do my Enchanted Luna because I can use Epic Pokemon. So like I try to do WhipGo, but at the same time I am focusing on my main project, which is Epic Pokemon and the Baby Blanket. The Baby Blanket is now going to be just a Daily 31, and we'll see when we're getting halfway in the year if I need to up my game on that one to get a finish or not. And then Epic Pokemon, I'm trying to fit in as much as I can wherever I can. But it's not a project that you can fit in a lot of places. I'm just saying, it doesn't have a lot of objects in it. It has a lot of Pokemons, not a lot of objects. And then from there, I go WhipGo. Can I fit? Now I'm only missing Enchanted Luna. Like, can I fit this into anything? If not, then I will look at my model stitching or another WhipGo that hasn't been called. That's why Storytime Sampler is finished. And if none of those fits, it's either what I feel like or one of the other ones. So since I had a lot of new ones in February, usually when I start a new project, I try to fit that one in as much as possible. Like not doing Epic Pokemon, not doing anything, just getting good amount of stitching on the new one because I know that's the only way that I'm going to love that whip and keep loving it. Because this is things I have learned about myself doing Flosstube. So thank you so much for helping me finding out how I like to stitch and I like to love my projects. So yeah, there's basically no real plans, just trying to knock more stitches out. Epic Pokemon is slow going because every time I try and sit down and stitch on Epic Pokemon, my son comes running and wants to help me stitch. That means in half an hour I get maybe 5 stitches in instead of 50 to 100 stitches. So that's also why March has gone down. My son is really excited about Pokemons now, even more than before. It started with him playing the Nintendo Switch Pokemon Sword. And then he got some Pokemon cards from his uncle, very kind uncle that had a lot of Pokemon cards that had been his father's and his other uncles in the past. So it's like generational going down. Which they have, like my husband collected those first and then gave it to his brother, and then his brother collected some more and gave it to his little brother, and then now that little brother has given it to my son. So after he got that, he has gone nuts about Pokemon. He is so excited. He is like looking at the Pokemon cards for hours and hours each day, just looking at Pokemon cards, trying to learn the names. He's obsessed. And one of the things he asked me was that if he could get Pokemon, the one I'm stitching, when it's done. Like, he asked me if he could get that pattern to have in his room. And I don't lie. I'm a terrible liar. So I had to tell him that, yes, that has been the plan all along, that when I'm done with Epic Pokemon, that's for you. I'm stitching that for you, and I did start that for him. I did. So that means he's really excited about me stitching on Epic Pokemon, and he wants to join, which is lovely. It's just I don't get my stitchy time that I need to just sit and relax. So yeah, we'll see how it goes, if I need to go and hide away soon when stitching. So it's really sweet and lovely that he wants to join me stitching. It's just really hard because I have to have him on my lap. He is 4 years old, so he is like restless. And not only restless, when I have to have my arm around him to be able to stitch. What he then does is he lays all his weight on my arm because it's so relaxing to lean against my arm, and that makes, like, you know, I'm sick, so that makes it really tiring in my arms, and I'm like, I can't use my arms anymore. So yeah, it is what it is. I will try and be better about an update. Hopefully these 2 weeks quarantine, it's like a crisis situation they have announced in Norway. Hopefully it will only be 2 weeks. If people do what they're supposed to do, which they are not right now. People are still going to malls, buying a ton of stuff, and being not very intellectual, and don't understanding that it's trying to stop a virus, so stop going to the mall. So if people behave and do what they have been told that they should do, hopefully we only need 2 week quarantine. If not, it might get even stricter to get a handle on the coronavirus, because it's a lot more contagious than people first assumed. And it is really damaging for the ones that are in the risk groups. And people think that the risk group is only elderly. No. If you have asthma, you're in the risk group. A lot of kids, a lot of grown-ups have asthma. I have allergic asthma because my allergies are so bad, and there is a lot of other people having allergic asthma. That is a very common thing to have. And if you have asthma and get corona, you have a big problem. So really, please, wherever you live, try and follow. Don't get hysterical. Don't go and buy all the toilet paper there is in the markets. No. There is enough for everyone if everyone just buy what they need. If you go and buy more than you need, then somebody else isn't getting what they need. Be good about hygiene, and be good about trying not to go too much in public places. If you can stay at home as much as you can, stay at home. Not necessarily for you, so you don't get contaminated, but so you don't go out, get contaminated, and infect other people that might be in the risk group. Think community, think about the big society, think about your next person. Be kind. Be kind with trying to do the best you can not to spread the virus, so it gets any further. And don't buy all the toilet paper. Like, somebody else wants to use toilet paper except you. Like, be kind. Think realistically. Yes, you need food, you need toilet paper. I'm not saying you're not allowed to buy toilet paper, but you don't need to buy toilet paper for 2 years. Like, like we have done here in Norway. Like, people like me that are in the risk group, we were recommended to maybe go and buy just food and what you need for 2 weeks, so you don't need to go to the grocery stores anymore in this 2 weeks quarantine. Like, that's okay. Like, buy for a meal for a week, 2 weeks. Don't go and buy meals and flour and bread and toilet paper for months and months and months. Like, other people also need those stuff. So be kind. Think about other people than yourself. And I hope you have a fun time enjoying stitching. Like, yes, a lot of countries now are put in a crisis situation. There's no need to be hysterical. Just follow the rules and be good. Don't go hysterical buying everything just because you're afraid. There's no need. Just be good, and the whole earth can get a handle on this coronavirus if everyone is just doing as I said. Don't buy everything, just buy what you need, and don't go on public places. Like, don't do anything more than you absolutely have to. Stay at home as much as you can, and the virus will go over. That's how it works. So, and that gives you an excuse to stay at home and stitch more. So I hope you will have a lovely week and month. Even though it's hectic, I don't get a lot of stitching time, I do try and appreciate the extra time I get with my husband and son right now, even though it's exhausting for me and my illness. I try to look at it as a little bonus time with my family. So yeah. And if I don't get a lot of stitching in March, I will be exhausted in April, and I can stitch a bunch in April. Maybe I do a new record. Who knows? Like, it's not the end of the world. So yeah. I'm just going to try and stay home with my husband and son, stitch when I can, and hopefully I will be back to you at the end of April with the giveaway that I have promised, the 1K giveaway. Most of the stuff is prepared, but because of the fact that we have this quarantine and it can continue on, like they have said 2 weeks. But if people don't do as they're supposed to, it can be prolonged. That means I'm not going to the post office in the next month, most likely. I need to consider my health first. So I'm going to do the giveaway when things have calmed down and we can enjoy everyday life again. A normal everyday life. So maybe next time there will be a giveaway, or the time after. So we just wait and see. So, but the giveaway is almost 100% ready to go. I just need life to calm down. So see you all later. It has been lovely to have you visiting me. Thank you so much for coming. And hopefully I will see you at the beginning of April. Bye.